120 miles north of the Arctic Circle, in Norway, and known for its remote, rugged beauty, are the Lofoten Islands. This has always been a bucket list of mine, but when it comes to Norway and its rugged countryside, it can be intimidating in trying to plan a trip like this. So when we planned a trip to Oslo, I knew that I needed to figure out how to get us to these magnificent islands. We flew from Oslo to Svolvær on Widerøe Airlines. It was a 2.5-hour flight on a tiny plane, and not gonna lie, it was pretty expensive. Probably partly due to the limited flights to such a remote location. But when you arrive and walk off the plane, it is the most spectacular sight that you've ever seen. I felt like I had just entered the land of Pandora.
So we just landed in the Lofoten Islands, and look at the view that I saw when I walked off the plane. This video definitely doesn't do it justice, but it's amazing. Wait till you see. I'm really, really excited.
From the airport, we took a taxi into the town of Svolvær to our car rental company called Lofoten Rental Car, and I'll leave the website in the description. This car rental company was way cheaper than the mainstream rental companies, literally half the price. We're talking $1,000 difference. We ended up with an older manual diesel BMW SUV, but it did the job. Rentals are expensive because of the lack of inventory during their months of nice weather. But Lofoten Rental Car had 5-star reviews, and they were really great. Once we got our rental car, we checked out the town center of Svolvær a bit. We caught the end of a market there in the square, and then headed to the grocery store before getting back in the car to drive to Henningsvær to our Airbnb.
So we're in Svolvær, which is where we landed at the airport. We picked up a rental car, and as we were driving, we saw this little cute area with all the flowers and decided to come back and check it out. It's really amazing. Wait till you see. I just can't get over the views. I believe that Svolvær is the largest town here in Lofoten. So most of the towns we're going to come to, sometimes the population is like 500 people. So they're super, super tiny. You know, obviously they live off of tourism and they're self-sufficient because they're in the middle of nowhere.
It's about a 25-minute drive from Svolvær and is a spectacular group of islands and bridges creating a dramatic setting. I was driving, and aside from the fact that some of the road becomes one way, so you have to really pay attention and learn to share the road, but I could not stop trying to look at this picturesque fishing village. Henningsvær has the most well-preserved architecture of the traditional Norwegian villages, and it's full of quirky cafes and restaurants, a gallery, and it's one of the biggest tourist spots in the Lofoten Islands. And because of all this is exactly why I thought it would be a great place to stay. So we just arrived in Henningsvær and we're checking into our Airbnb. We've kind of walked through already. It's amazing, and what's more amazing is wait till you see the view.
You can have my heart. You can have my soul. I'll give it all. Come take control. New mercies rising. Grace never failing. Your all-consuming love. You're worth it all. You're everything.
Once we checked into our Airbnb, we decided to head back to Svolvær to really check it out, since it is the biggest island in Lofoten. Plus, it was east of us, and the next following days we would be looking to head west.
Mercies rising. Grace never failing. Your all-consuming love. Oh, you are.
On the way, we stopped at Vagon Church to take a look around. It is the largest wooden structure in northern Norway, and Norway has about 28 of these wooden churches left, so definitely worth taking a look.
Let love like a fire fill all that's inside me. I'm desperate for your.
Back in Svolvær, we took the bridge to the other side, which we hadn't been, for a look around. Svolvær is a true town with a shopping mall, clothing stores, supermarkets, a cinema, hotels, some nice restaurants, and art galleries. It's open for business throughout the year. And don't get me wrong, it's still tiny, but compared to the rest of the towns in Lofoten, it seems huge.
So I'm currently walking over this bridge in Svolvær because we came back just because we're gonna go the other way starting tomorrow, and the light is really nice, so we wanted to come back and shoot some. It's about 7 o'clock, and honestly the best light right now with the 24-hour sun is not until 10 p.m. but it's still really pretty, and we just definitely want to check it out before we're done for the night because we are pretty tired. But so just walking up this bridge right now, and yeah, hoping the light isn't too much, but we'll find out in a second. So you can kind of hear the helicopter in the background up there. I keep seeing the helicopter go up there and make a drop. There was something hanging from it, so I hope that everyone is okay. But yeah, you hear it? They keep going up there though, so I'm kind of just watching to see what happens. So the way that I think of the Lofoten Islands is a lot like how I think of the Florida Keys. If you've ever been to Florida, yes, they're both islands and keys, kind of. But the same thing in Florida. You know, when you're going from place to place, you're in the Florida Keys the entire time, just like here being in the Lofoten Islands, just very opposite weather and terrain. But you hit your major towns and then you hit some of your smaller towns. So we're constantly going through little tiny towns, and then we get to bigger places like here, which is Svolvær, which is where we flew into, and also where we're staying, which I think Henningsvær is the second largest city, but it might be Rena. I'm not sure. I will have to get back with you on that one. But, you know, as you're driving through these islands, you go through some really teeny tiny parts of it, and then you go through some bigger towns. But, you know, I do have to say, being 120 miles north of the Arctic Circle is the furthest and the most remote that we've ever been, but it's also the most amazing because it's so untouched up here. So that's what makes it so remarkable as well. So sorry about the wind.
From there, we headed back to our Airbnb for some dinner that we had picked up at the grocery store. Norway is expensive, more so to eat out than the grocery store, but the grocery store was still pricey too. We knew that we'd be eating out plenty, so we were good with just cooking and relaxing since it was a travel day for us. The next day, we slept in a bit. We learned quickly with having the 24-hour sun that we didn't need to get up so early because the 24-hour sun would keep us up running around pretty late and until pretty early in the AM. It's kind of amazing how one's body responds to the 24-hour sun. Without nighttime, you just want to keep going. Plus, the prettiest lighting was between 11 AM and 3:30 AM. So we wanted to take advantage of that. We headed west, but we're staying on the southern side. The goal was to go halfway towards the last town of N today, and then the other half making our way to N the following day. We would stay on the southern side going, and then on the northern side to see the beaches for the midnight sun later on the way back. So we knew it was going to be a long day. After a bit of driving, we stopped for a snack, coffee, the bathroom, and to capture more of the island's amazing beauty.
Good afternoon. So today is our first full day here in Lofoten. We started our day pretty late. We actually slept in because there's 24 hours of sun. So even though we were super tired yesterday, today we want to take advantage of the 24-hour sun. So we didn't leave till late afternoon. We're heading down the coast to a place called Stamsund. And right now we just kind of stopped at a little fishing village. I had to go to the bathroom and to get some coffee, and can't figure out if I'm hot or cold. The hat goes on, the hat comes off. It's one of those situations where it's warm in the sun, but as soon as the sun goes in, you're freezing. So every place here is like a picture. It's completely amazing. So we keep stopping to take pictures and photograph and everything, use the drone. It's pretty amazing. We're in a little tiny fishing village right this second. So we're gonna get some shots and then we'll be on our way.
Since some places in Lofoten are so remote, you have to take advantage of any cafes, bakeries, grocery stores, gas stations, or bathrooms when you see them.
Sometimes winning's losing fast.
'cause our love is too strong for that kind of talk to be more than a thought. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes we both need our space, and it's the only way.
We were heading towards Stamsund, a tiny fishing town, for our first official stop.
It took our whole world going black, oh, and fading fast, just to finally see that all that we have is all that we need.
So we are in Stamsund, and they have a little harbor over here. They're known as a little fishing village. Super cute.
So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you.
Oh, and there's a little lighthouse right over there as well. So cute.
Sundown to sunrise.
After capturing some footage of this charming town, we found a Joker grocery store. So we grabbed and bought our own version of some charcuterie and wraps, and sat out front at the picnic tables to have some lunch.
The lame, the weak, too afraid to start the dreams that only came to pass them by. Here's to the broken man who stood and walked when he heard you can, 'cause it shows me that faith is more than sight.
After lunch, we continued southwest towards Balstad, a village that was one of the largest fishing villages in Lofoten. But along the way, we had to keep stopping to capture some of this magnificent scenery.
Hold your hand up to your heart, and know it's just a chance to start. I know that it might feel like it's too hard.
We've stopped now in a town called Balstad, which is known for their fishing. You could actually smell it as you come into the town. I mean, obviously all these places are known for fishing, but this one has a lot of big boats, and it's really cool looking. I will show you.
Just know that love is whatever you are. It will never be too far. Oh no. Oh, raise your voice to sing along. This is not the time to watch. Grab a hand and make this day our march. Pulling down the walls we cross, fighting through the wars we lost, looking for the day when we have won.
Now you can smell the town of Balstad almost before you can see it. Along with being a large fishing village, it's also known for its diving resort and dive programs, as well as kayaking and snorkeling, and there are several art galleries in the town as well. The Lofoten Islands in general are known for their cod fishing, which they call stockfish. They catch the fish and then hang the fish out to dry on the racks that you see all over the islands. They're dried for months before exporting them to several countries. Norway and the Lofoten Islands rely heavily on this export. If you're wondering how come the fish don't rot, like I was, it's because microorganisms found in the cool Arctic air actually keep the fish from rotting.
Someday we could all be free. We could change the world if we would just believe. 'Cause faith and love is all you need. This whole world doesn't see. Someday we could all be free. Yeah, we could change the world if we would just.
So these are cod racks. They fish and hang the cod on there to dry for several months. You would think they would rot, but because of the air, something about the cool air and the microorganisms in it, it actually preserves the fish. And then they go and they sell it to places like Italy and Spain. But I mean, you can definitely smell it when you enter the city. I haven't seen a lot with cod on them, but these actually have cod on them.
Now, Balstad was one of the only towns that I did see codfish drying on the racks. I also found a big warehouse building with nothing but these stockfish in huge piles.
Wow, tons and tons of fish inside there.
From there, we stopped down the street in Gravdale at Bucksness Church for a look before heading northeast to check out some of the beaches.
I'm heading up to Bucksness, I think it's Bucksness Church. There are only a few of these churches left in Norway. I know I'm dark. I'll go this way. You can see it behind me now. But this one, the architecture is really outstanding, so I just wanted to catch a glimpse of it, even if I can't go inside.
Though this site has been the site for Bucksness Church since the 1300s, this red wooden Dragestell church was built in a long church style in 1905. It's definitely some interesting architecture to stop and take a look at.
Pretty cool, right?
And again, there aren't that many of them still around, so you want to take a look. After the church, we were heading over to Hawkland Beach, or Hawkland Stranda, and Stranda means beach. And I was super excited to see the beach.
We've stopped at Hawkland Stranda. Hawkland Strada. Stranda? I'll have to look up what the name is exactly, but we've stopped here. It is a beautiful beach. You can see behind me. I'm gonna go check it out. The water looks like the Caribbean instead of the Arctic.
Now, if you didn't know better, you would have thought that we were in the Caribbean. The colors of the water are this vivid aqua color, and the sand is like powder, and the water, so clear.
This sand is like Clearwater Beach. Like, it's amazing, so soft, not what you would expect here. Just absolutely amazing. And you hear the sheep baaing in the background, baa, up on that mountain. So funny.
This beach has been voted not only one of the prettiest beaches in Norway, but in the world. And because of that, I thought that I needed to at least get my toes in.
Lights be our stars and then picture swings in the park, and I'll swing with you. Sing it with me. Sing it with me.
It's actually not as cold as I thought it was gonna be. So amazing. My GoPro was almost picked up by a dog that just came running by. I thought it was gonna be a goner.
You want to, so keep your eyes on the road and your head in the stars. Follow it down the rabbit hole just a little while longer. You can change anything if you want to. Sing it like ooh, if you want to. Sing it like ooh, if you want to. The next time I turn around, you'll have grown into a woman in a single bound. I hope I never take you for granted. Spending time with you is all that I wanted. But I'll go back to when you were small, burning all our favorite records on the CD-ROM. We were splitting headphones in a hammock.
The beach was pretty crowded, and not just with people checking out the beach, but they allowed camping there as well. In the Lofoten Islands, there are only certain places that are designated for camping, and this was one of them.
So we're at the same beach, we just came down a little bit further and there's lots of people camping here. And there's also a trail that overlooks the water. I'm not gonna do it today, but it was definitely, I'd flagged it for a possibility. But yeah, lots of people camping, you can see. It's really a beautiful beach. This side, you can see how much wider it is over here.
Let the rundown street lights be your stars. Let them know who we are. Let them shine for you. It's no use living if you're already dead. It's not worth saying if it's already said.
My entire time at the beach, I couldn't help giggling because in the mountains behind us were loads of sheep, and all I could hear was bang and their little bells going off as they ran through the mountain pastures. I thought it was so funny, and hopefully for the campers, they weren't light sleepers. Following that, we were off to another beach called Unstad Beach, and I was excited to see this beach because it was famous for surfing and for the midnight sun. So I drove through the mountain tunnel to the other side to find out that we couldn't get around the next mountain that way. So we backtracked a bit and went around to then end up back towards the water. And not only that, but there was this incredible view. So of course we had to stop.
So we're on our way to Unstop Beach, but we keep pulling over because the views are just absolutely sensational.
By now it was getting late into the evening and a Sunday night, so the plan was to get to Unstad and go and get a bite to eat at the Unstad Arctic Surf. I've listed the website in the description. Not only do they have accommodations and all of your surfer needs and rentals, but I had read that the food was really good, and especially their famous cinnamon buns. And the Lofoten Islands were supposed to have the best cinnamon buns. So of course, we were going to need to try them. We had for dinner fish burgers, which are a must in the Lofoten Islands, and then of course, the famous cinnamon buns. When we were finished, we headed for the beach to check out the midnight sun. We got there before midnight and stayed for quite a while. Aside from the fact that it was just stunning, this beach's scenery were actual shots for screensavers for computers. That's how beautiful this beach was. But what was more remarkable was that it was midnight and there were still tons of surfers in the water. It was an extraordinary sight to see, to say the least.
Okay, so we made it to Unstad Beach now, after getting something to eat. Actually at the Unstad surf shop there, they have a restaurant, which was great because it was open late. It is a Sunday night and things in Norway seem to close really early. So it was really great that they were open, especially considering that this is the beach that people come to for the midnight sun. So I would expect it probably gets pretty busy over there. But anyways, this beach, it's not quite midnight, it's about 10 o'clock. So we're a little bit early. The sun's not quite down as low as I would like it to be, but nevertheless, it's still really beautiful and we really wanted to check it out, and you'll see there's some surfers out there right now. So who would have thought people surf in Norway?
To make me laugh is a time and place I can't get back in an hourglass. I cannot turn upside down. Flashes of lightning paint the sky and burn it out. In the bulrushes, no basket found. In the place I've gone, sang itself out like a song. Don't look at me like I'm wrong. Don't look at me like I'm wrong. I would fight for you if I could win. I would die for you and live in sin.
As you can see, I'm bundled up now. It's cold. The weather changes really fast, especially here at the beach, but it's definitely cold, but it's pretty amazing, and it's amazing that it's almost 11 o'clock and this is what the sun is looking like. So it still might be a little bit high for my pictures, but it's pretty great. There's a bunch of surfers out right now, so 11 p.m. surfing.
I didn't really want to leave, but it was cold. On the way back, I was on such a high from what we had just witnessed, I had to stop in Henningsvær for some midnight sun pics before heading to our Airbnb. It was like a painting. It was definitely hard to unravel and go to bed. I knew the next few days would be filled with more incredible sights and adventures in the Lofoten Islands, and my adrenaline was pumping.
So this is midnight in Henningsvaer. The light is really pretty right now.
make sure that you stay tuned for part 2 of our incredible trip in the Lofoten Islands. See you next time.